Hi, welcome to your favorite channel. I'm some normal artist and you're watching Disney Channel. Today I'm gonna show you how to color eyes. I'm not gonna show you how to draw them. I'm just assuming that you know how to draw them. This is more of how to color. And this is gonna kind of backtrack on my last video, how to pick shading colors. So if you haven't watched that, I would recommend watching that now before coming to this video, because you're not gonna pretty much understand what I'm saying when I'm talking about my colors. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm gonna start now somewhere. So what we're first gonna do is we're gonna pick a purple color to start off our color scheme. Then if you remember from last video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring down the darkness of the color, and then we're gonna change the hue to the left to make our another shading color. Then we're gonna repeat that, make another shading color. And then right here, I'm gonna make it a little bit more desaturated, since I don't want the eye to look too bright. So we're gonna make a less saturated color for that last shading color. Now what you want to do is make a reflective color by picking the light blue that I have on screen and then mixing it with the last color of your shading color. So we're gonna pick somewhere in the middle of that. I like that color. So now we have our color scheme. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to shade in our eyes basically. Or not shade in, sorry, color in our eyes with the color that we chose. So now we have our eye color. Now what I forgot to say is that we have to draw in our white of the eyes. So I accomplished this by just coloring it first with black or some saturated color first to know where the actual white part is, and then preserve opacity and then fill it in with white. What preserve opacity does is it makes sure that you don't color outside of your lines, so it's really helpful so you don't have to color in something again. So now what I'm gonna do is set my line art to multiply. This is because based on the color under the line art, it's gonna change depending. If you watched my hair color, you'd know how it works. So if you don't know how that works, I'd just recommend watching that video. So now what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna preserve opacity, the base of my eye, and then fill it in with my second base color. I know this kind of seems redundant, but you'll see. Alright. So now pick your base color and then add a little circle to the bottoms of your eyes. And now what we're gonna do is that we're gonna add a circle of this first shade color. We're gonna add it to the middle of our eyes. And then this is a stylistic choice, but what I like to do is that I like to pick the base color, and then I like to make an arc, cutting the pupil and the top of the eye. So we just make an arc to separate them. This is stylistic, you don't have to really do this, I just like it. And then what we're gonna do now is that we're gonna make another arc going down the from the bottom of the pupil, and then we're gonna blur out the middle of it like that. This of course makes your eye more interesting to look at. That's pretty much why I do anything that seems unrealistic. It's just to make your eye more interesting. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick the second base or shade color, and then we're gonna just arc on top just to add more value to our eye, and then we're gonna blur out the edges of it like that. And then we're gonna continue with the bottom arc of the eye, and we're just gonna overlay it with this hard color, but don't overlay all of it because we're trying to make it look like it's going from dark to light. And then you're just gonna want to kind of blur it out so it all mixes together like that. And now with the last color, it's pretty easy. This one's not really that hard. You just arc over, and then you just kind of have to blur the edges if it looks a little bit too hard for you. So then yeah, just blur the edges. And now with our reflective color, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna add it as a half oval on the top of the eye like that. What this does, it makes your eye look more glossy, which makes it look more reflective. So instead of looking like a dull eye, like a flat eye, it makes it look like it's more spherical, and it makes it look like it's more shiny than it really is. And this is to make the eye, you know, just, yeah, more shiny. Yeah. So what we're gonna do now is that since I have my line art to multiply, I'm gonna have to color under my eyelashes. Some artists don't have to do this since they actually color their line art, but I don't. I just like to set mine to single color and then set it to multiply. So what I do is that I take the last shade color and then I start to fill in my eyelash with that color. Alright, now that I'm done, what I'm gonna do to add more contrast to my eyelashes, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna preserve their opacity, take my base color, and then with an airbrush tool, I'm just gonna light it out on the edges. This just makes it look like there's more lighting in our environment, and it just adds more contrast so that our eye is basically more interesting to look at. And then, yeah. So now what we're gonna do is that we're gonna make a Lumion shade layer above our base eye, and then we're gonna take the base color and then just add more light to like our bottom arc below the pupil and above the pupil. Again, this makes it look like our eyes are more glossy. And then you can just adjust the opacity based on what you like. Then what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna create a new layer, new clipping layer, and then I'm gonna make it either overlay or Lumion shade. So I'm gonna try overlay here. I'm gonna adjust it and then Lumion shade. Yeah, I think Lumion shade looks better. When you want to do Lumion shade is when your eye looks a little bit dull, you can do that. But if your Lumion shade looks too white and not like a tint of your color that you chose, you can pick overlay instead. So right now I'm just adjusting it. Alright, that looks better. Now what we're gonna do is that I'm gonna create a new folder for the shadow. I'm creating a folder to put all our stuff in. So put everything inside of your folder except for your line art and the eyelashes if you did that step. And then add a new layer, make it multiply, and then make it a clipping group on the folder. Now what we're gonna do is that we're gonna select a dark purple, this color depends on the color of your eyes, but I'm doing a dark purple since my eyes are purple. I'm gonna set it to multiply, and then I'm gonna arc the top of my eye for my shadow. So just fill it in as hard as you can because we're gonna adjust the opacity layer. So right now I'm just coloring it, and then I think that this looks fine. And then if it doesn't look right to you, you can shift your shadow up a little if you want to. And then this is more of a stylistic choice, but I like to add a new Lumion shade color, or new Lumion shade layer. I like to take a very saturated orange and then just kind of color outline the shadow where it stops, and then I like to blur it out. And then I'm gonna adjust the opacity. So see, this is how your eye should look like right now. So now this part of the video is gonna be about the sparkles that you put on your eyes. You know, like the. Wait. Oh yeah. Sorry, I forgot. At this point, we're gonna start adding flare to like the base of our eyes. So what I like to do is that I like to take a luminosity layer, and then I just kind of add, wrong pen. I like to add strokes against my eyes, like this. What this basically does is it just adds more details to your eyes. It's a good idea to do this if you're not doing a full body drawing, because if you're doing a full body drawing, these details aren't even noticeable. So I'd only recommend to do this if you're doing a headshot drawing, because then it makes your eyes look more interesting to look at. But since a full body drawing is more about like the whole person as a whole, then I wouldn't really do this step. So now that we have our details, since we're doing a headshot drawing, you can just make your shadows come back. And then what we're going to do is that we're going to add a luminosity layer above everything. This is going to be where our sparkle of the eyes kind of start. You can be creative with this. It doesn't really matter how you do it. You can like do little hearts for your sparkles, like this. Or you can do circles. Oops. You can do circles. You can do triangles like this. This is just basically up to you and your own style. So what I usually do though, I just usually make circles for the simplicity of this video. Yeah. Circles, and then I'm going to take a very saturated blue and then just kind of add another dot on the opposite side of the white, and then I'm going to take a very saturated purple and make it from the opposite side of the blue. So yeah, this makes it look like your eyes are reflecting off light, and it makes it look nicer. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make another luminosity layer, but we're going to do this for the eyelashes. If you didn't do the eyelashes, then you don't have to do this, but since I did, I'm going to add strokes of pink on the eyelashes, and then I'm going to lower the opacity. So it makes it look like there's individual eyelashes. And yeah, this is how your eyes should turn out. If you liked this tutorial, I recommend I recommend subscribing to me because I'm amazing. I also recommend liking this video because it does support me. It makes me happy, you know. And yeah. Follow or subscribe to me for more tutorials in the future, and I guess I'll see you later.